So, welcome everyone to our Study Abroad podcast series. So, today we have Sachin from Frankfurt, whose journey we'll be covering in this podcast. So, welcome Sachin to our podcast.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you so much for inviting. My pleasure.
So, Sachin, the very first question we have for you is when was the very first time you thought that you should go abroad for some exposure, some studies, or something?
To be very honest, I never thought of going to abroad. Like every other Indian student, I was preparing hard for the CAT exam, that is an entrance exam for IIMs, and I graduated in 2019. So after that, I was really preparing hard and wanted to make it to actually a good B school. I gave it once, twice, thrice, but after that, I couldn't stand it on my expectations of the B school. And that is the time I realized that I think I should change the process or, change something because I felt that that exam was maybe not for me. So I shifted to GMAT, and that time I realized that I should look for abroad options. And I wanted to do my MBA journey from a like good B school, or else I don't wanted to do it actually, and that's why I pushed it a bit myself. And this is how the transition of thoughts came.
Sure, sure, sure. And once you decided that you want to go for GMAT and study abroad thing, which were the colleges in your mind? Like you like made a list of colleges that you want to apply to that time, and what were those?
Yes, when I started my preparation for study abroad, I started looking for exams. I started looking for B schools. Again, as an Indian aspirant, it's quite easy for us to look for United Kingdom, UK because of the language. So easy to, adjust there. So only B schools that I was looking was totally in UK. I got couple of admits out there. I got uh, scholarships as well from Warwick University and few other universities. I was happy to join, but it was COVID at that time, so I don't wanted to do classes online. And this is where I realized that, okay, no, I don't want to do classes online. And then I wanted to take, try my luck on the next year. And this gave me enough ample time, I would say, to explore more options. The only B school I would say I applied in whole of Europe was only Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. So I started talking to alumni, I started talking to present students, and that's where the game changed. It seems quite appealing to me. Frankfurt as a place was also a very good option if you're looking something in terms of finance and banking. And also after the Brexit, I think it was a good option because Germany has been doing great in terms of economy in whole of Europe since a very long time, a bit stable as well. And yeah, so the main thing was in UK, the masters is generally of 1 year, and in Germany, the masters is generally of 2 year. So that was also something I realized because when you go there, you do your masters for 1 year, it spans to around 9 months, and after that, you write your thesis. So by the time you settle down, you understand the market, you understand the culture out there, you are almost done. And here it was 2 years with more time. So this is how I did my research actually.
So this 1 year versus 2 year masters debate, you are saying that you wanted to actually spend more time studying, whereas a lot of people might say that they want to save money, save time, and just finish off in 1 year. How do you see this comparison for like other students? Like, what were the advices given to you during that time, during this? I mean, when you're deciding about this 1 year versus 2 year?
Great question, Vishal. Thank you for putting this up. So people don't really understand that. I would say the aspiring students always see that they would wanted to complete their master's ASAP and wanted to land to a job. For me, I started my master's as a pre-experience master's with kind of zero to none experience, like a full time. So the thing is, when I saw people, I reach out to people over UK. They can't. I mean, they are doing odd jobs, trying to figure out money from there for a kind of their own expenses, and simultaneously they are also studying and managing itself. But here, when I see it's a master's of 2 years, the best part, or I would say the unique part of Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, it's a 3 day model. So I have to attend classes 3 days, and rest of the 3 days I am supposed to work. This is what my school encourages. And when I say in terms of work, I don't say I'm going for odd jobs, but I'm really working in corporates. So when I start my career, I feel that by the time I graduate, I am much more clear what I want to do because, from my experience in this 2 years, I have worked in consultancy, I have worked in finance, I have worked in accountancy. So now I'm pretty much clear by the time I graduate what I really wanted to do. And also at the same time, I also have the experience, work experience, legit work experience, you can say, that is adding up to it. And I'm earning as well. So I mean, I can manage my expenses, I can manage my studies, and at the same time I'm having actually a good experience that will add up to my career in terms of skill set. So this is how see 1 years versus 2 years. If you are, I think you should see it like this: if you are making 2 years or 1 year, see what you are actually doing in that 1 year and not in a hurry to complete, because you have invested a lot of time and money for that 1 year, and the outcome is not actually the college, but the outcome is of you after that 1 year. So yeah.
So when you say you are working 3 days and you are studying 3 days, so these 3 days of working is like you have to find your own part-time job. Like what kind of job are you doing like in your personal space?
So this is a very good concept here in Germany. This is called a working student positions, where you are not supposed to work more than 20 hours in a week like other countries as well, I am supposed to know. So in this, you are going to, like, you're applying to jobs, you're going 2.5 days, sometimes it spans to 3 days. So this is a working student position. It is generally termed as a working student. And in terms of working student, you are actually given the responsibility of full-time work, I would say. I mean, you're not treated as someone, you are here for only 2.5 days and you will leave. You're just here for coming like a year and you are going. It's not like that. Right now I'm working at a Société Générale. It's a French bank. I'm doing the taxation part, which is a 37B taxation. So sometimes it's a lot, but I have actually learned a lot. So this is a very common concept in Germany called a working student positions.
Yeah. And these positions are usually for like 2, 3 months, or how is the duration of these positions that you are pursuing?
So the best part of this working student position is it spans, the contract is generally a minimum of 1 year in 99% of the cases. So once you are in a working student position, you have a contract till 1 year and you can extend it, but until and unless you are a student, you can be you are working as a working student. And also it's like when you are given a salary, you don't have to pay taxes because it's a working student position. And also, when it's a lecture-free period, you can also work full time, given the fact that you have to take written proof from your study advisor from a university and submit it to your company that this is a lecture-free period and I want to work full time. And again, you don't have to pay taxes. So it's kind of a win-win situation for both, for the companies and the students as well, especially for international students as well, because if it's like if a company hires a full-time employee, they have to it's like they have to pay more. So few of the works, they just rely on the working students, and this same, it's like on the other side of the coin, you see the international students really get an opportunity. So it's also not specific to few companies. Almost every company you name, every company, they have working student positions here in Germany.
I think the good thing probably is that these 3 days you are pretty much doing full time for 3 days, which becomes part time for the whole week. Which let's say in
Yes.
UK 1 year masters you might be doing 3, 4 hours every day, every day, every day. So every day it's a part time, whereas this is like full time in a part time of the week kind of thing. So you still get the feel of the whole day work, etc. So I guess that's the major difference. And then, like you said, 1 year contract pretty much. So people have like at least two part-time jobs before they graduate for 2 years. which means they already know two types of job or two types of company before joining the third full-time company.
True. And also it's like when you are as a full-time student, like generally in UK, you are doing odd jobs that is only adding money to your, bank account, but skill set in terms of, I would say, hardcore skill set. But here you're actually working in corporates that you actually want to. And this working student work, it's like when you're there for a company in 1 year, 1.5 year, by the time you're graduating, if the company sees a potential on you, they potentially offer you full-time positions because they don't want to spend a lot of time bringing people for outside, because they know you, how you fit into the culture, how you work. So this is also a very good plus point.
Yeah, it's like the trial period kind of for the both the
Yes,
sides.
yes, definitely.
So, and for coming to Frankfurt School, you had to do any entrance test like GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, etc. to apply for that?
So yes, so for my program was Masters in Management, and for all pre-experienced Masters program, that is a 3-day model, you have to give an entrance test. Either it's GMAT, GRE, or they have their own. It's kind of FS test or something like that. So you have to pick any one of those, and you have to give the test. But yeah, it's mandatory to give one of the tests.
Sure, sure. And so after giving all the English test also is needed, like IELTS or TOEFL, or that's not needed for your case?
So for universities, like for my school, if you have studied in English throughout throughout your bachelor's, high school, you don't need it. But the catch is when you go to the German consulate, they ask for IELTS. So you go to the visa appointment, and when it happened with few of my students that went to the appointment center, and because they asked that you have to bring the IELTS score, so it got delayed a bit. So generally, if you have your whole studies in English back in India, in bachelor's, in high school, in schooling, then you don't need it. You just need again, reference letter from your bachelor's and schooling that you studied in English. But I would rather suggest to give it IELTS, because at the end of the day, the visa consulate, these people need these IELTS scores, the English proficiency test scores, actually.
Sure, sure. And you had to choose your flight and accommodation also for Frankfurt, right? So which flight did you take and how was your accommodation hunting?
So the flight I chose was Vistara. So I would say it's pretty nice because when there's something called student, especially some offers for student, and with that I was able to carry 90 kgs with me. So I carried a lot of foods with me. So it was pretty nice. Second, in terms of accommodation, it was pretty simpler for me. So the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management has already some of these, you said tie up with, at my time, like back in 2022, had tie up with few of these studio apartments in Frankfurt. And when you apply to that accommodation, you apply through the Frankfurt School, through the university, and you get at it a subsidized rate from the market rate. So I actually applied through the Frankfurt School portal and I actually got it. So I didn't actually do much of hunting. So this is also one thing that Frankfurt School does for only for the international students and also for the first year students. So they don't have to work a lot back in their home country to find accommodation. So it's also quite really nice.
And what's the strength of your class? How many students joined with you?
So my strength of this class is around 120 students, but it is again splitted into different sections, I would say. So at individual level, one class has around 40 students. So it's like the student and teacher ratio, professor ratio is quite good. In my class, there are around 40 students. So some has classes on Monday, Tuesdays, and Saturdays. Some has classes on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Depends on in which days they work. So it's also quite adjustable.
So once you landed in Frankfurt and you like joined your accommodation, you had your classes beginning, you started hunting for this part-time job. how much time did it take you to actually secure the job and start the job?
Actually, I started a bit late, to be honest. When I came here at Frankfurt School, I was really overwhelmed. I was really involved in a lot of other initiatives, student-led initiatives, because I would say Frankfurt School is really beyond academics. You do a lot of things, but at the same time, this is where, that I made my network. I got really good networking opportunities, and through that, I actually landed my first job. So I applied my first job around, I landed on August, but I applied my first job around January 2023. And by the time in 2 months, I got a couple of interviews. But I chose to go to Deloitte Consulting, where I started from June in the Frankfurt office. So I would say it really depends. There's no standard time. Some might face rejection of hundreds, might face rejection of 10, but you have to be patient enough because uh, rejection will definitely be there. So you have to be consistent, but I would say you can also start applying before you actually land, because I have seen people who started applying before they land, and by the time they are here, they actually started their job. So it's all on you how you want to process it. But this working student opportunities are quite open and a lot of positions throughout the year.
Sure, sure. So some people might be smart enough or like might be impatient enough to join right away, whereas some people might
Yeah,
take some time to hunt down the best thing,
yeah,
etc. for them. And so this
yeah.
great learning is this fear, this feeling of rejection and handling rejection, etc. So like you were in India before this, you were in Guwahati for some time here and there, and now you are in Frankfurt. So the rate of rejection, the learning of rejection is more in Frankfurt versus India, or how was this rejection curve for you, like the graph in your life so far?
Academically, I would say the rate of rejection in India is super high, considering the fact that the population. But I would say the number of, I would say the rejection in jobs also, I think in India is quite high, but I'm not very sure. I come from a family business background. So I graduated in 2019 and I was there with my family, supporting in the family business for a year or so because of the COVID. And then I started working for 6 months full time to gain actually the corporate experience. And then I came here. But if I say back then, my time, around 2.5 lakh student seats for IIMs and only 5,000 seats were there. So, the one who ranks at 5,001 or 2, they are not, not a good students or brilliant student. It's just that there are only 5,000. The capacity is 5,000. So I would say my curve has been quite rejection back in India, but that added up to my learning. And here it's like I also got a couple of rejections, or I would say a lot of rejections here, but a lot of opportunities as well here. So yeah, I would say it's a very good learning curve, I would say.
Yeah, and in foreign countries, usually you have to do a lot of individual applications, whereas in India, it's like a kind of a joint entrance. So one application gets you like to 20 colleges or 30, like something like that.
Yeah,
So you don't have to like apply separately. Whereas in foreign colleges or foreign jobs, it's a bit like it's a bit like school, individual applications to each school. Just like when we were kids, you have to apply individually. But as a kid, the opportunities were probably just the local opportunities. Whereas in job now, it's like the national level. You have to pretty much apply to each job individually across the nation.
true, true.
So once you came to Germany, there is this cultural difference of cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, etc. by yourself, which makes people a bit more independent. So how was this journey from, let's say, a bit of a dependent to independent for you?
I would say it's a quite nice journey. You develop a lot as a person, but at the same time, like since after my class 10, I have been living outside of my home because of good education. I was in hostel and this and that. So I have been living alone for a while. The major difference I would say is on the cooking part, because back in India, when I was in hostel and all that, I don't have to cook. But here I started actually learning cooking. So this was the major difference I would feel. And I mean, when you're totally on your own, at first you struggle a bit, and then you, with time, when you learn all these things, you're actually satisfied and feel that, you are much more independent. You can hold yourself, you can do yourself, you can manage yourself. Because whenever you are sick, you are the only one who have to take care of yourself. And so I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's good. I mean, everyone should experience once in a lifetime, I would say, this experience of doing everything on your own or being on your own, because it's make you emotionally, mentally tough and ready for the near future.
Sure, sure. And also, like in foreign colleges, usually there is no placement department as such. So they may give you some advice here and there, but you still have to apply for all the things by yourself. How do you see that difference as an experience?
I would say in my university, it was a bit different. Whatever we had questions, queries, there was this international office, there was a dedicated study advisor. There were student council. The student council are the elected council members of the schools. So all these are really ready to help you. There's this very good buddy program at my school. Before you join at this university, you get a tie up to a buddy, and based on the availability, they help you come to the airport. They drop you to their, wherever you have booked your accommodation. They help you with your bank account. They help you with your SIM. So they are really, I mean, it feels like a family, and it was really good. So I would say I was not really relied on external sources, but I was really relied on my university, on different departments, because it was really helpful. In fact, for the health insurance, these companies used to come to our university to conduct these sessions, that how you can, do your health insurance process and all that. So I never actually relied on the outside, but my school was pretty much cool to accommodate everything.
Yeah, yeah. I also see that you have done an exchange program with another B school. Could you tell that about that experience a bit?
So I'm currently in my fourth semester, last semester of my master's in management degree. And recently, in the month of February 2024, I was in IE Madrid in Spain. And the module which I did from there was Fintech. So it was quite nice. So there's also a kind of application process behind that. So every year, near about 25 students are selected from the school to, go to this exchange, and this 25 students from all around the master's programs, from my understanding. So it's not only about, you have a good score and you're eligible to go, but overall your scores, your involvement in the university. So overall, they take into consideration. And it was pretty nice exchange program. I got to learn a lot of things on the morning, or in afternoon. It was lot of group works, I would say. But the evening, we also used to, our schedule was planned like we used to explore the cultural things of the city. So it was really nice. And we also had one or two visiting professors as well. They were really nice. And yeah, it's always a good, experience to go to other country, other school, and get to experience all those. So I made couple of friends there as well. So it's really nice.
And how many days, how many months you stayed there?
I actually was there for a week, so it was a short exchange course. But in my university, like, you can also do a semester abroad, but which I didn't wanted to, because I'm already abroad, and it will be abroad. So it's like that. And again, I have to sublet my house there, getting a new house there. I can't work there. And the main thing for not going to abroad was the place where I'm working right now. They wanted me to be here and not take a break for 3 or 4 months. So it was, I mean, kind of decided before my contract. So I have to be there. So yeah, it was
Sure, sure.
like that actually.
And what's your future goals for the next few years?
I'm writing right now my master thesis, and I'm done with my master's. And soon I'm currently in my application process for full-time positions. And yeah, I will be here for a couple of years at least. I would say I haven't planned something down the 5 years or 10 years, but yeah, I want to be here. I want to experience more, learn more. So I see myself here for a couple of more years, at least, I would say.
Sure, sure. Coming to the very last question of this podcast, what advices, pro tips would you like to give your juniors who would like to consider Frankfurt as one of the destination, or Germany, or just in general study abroad?
The one big suggestion here, I like from my experience, I can give is it's good to start learn the language, German language, because I mean you can Frankfurt is quite international. I mean you don't have to, you can survive here without knowing the language. But for getting a full-time position, it's a bit difficult because if you plan to stay here long or after graduation you want to work here, you should know the language. I would say not very good, but at least you can converse or comprehend, because in most of the cases it happens that if you know the language, the opportunities or the job market for you expands. And I have also seen it's like if there is suppose say two candidates in terms of skill set, one is 18 and one is 20, but the 18 one knows the language, the company would pick the 18 one because skill set will develop over time, language takes a bit time. So here it also important for the recruiter or the companies that you integrate well with the team, and for that language plays a really big role. So try to start learning the language ASAP. And yeah, I mean put some efforts on it. It's not easy, to be honest, it's not easy at all, but it's worth it actually.
And I also see you're quite active on LinkedIn, 10,000 followers, more than that. So you have been active on LinkedIn for a while. How was this follower count increased for you?
I mean, for me, I was in LinkedIn since start of my bachelor's, I would say, but I was not that active. But like since I came to Germany, I was a bit active because I was involved in couple of initiatives at my Frankfurt school, outside initiatives. I did couple of business games where I traveled a lot of countries, and this exposure actually gave me to, I mean, I use this platform, to put my experience. So this is how it worked actually, and over a time it grows. So I would say there's no standard formula for it, but I have been active since 3 years now, and it's whenever there is something big or small happens in my life in terms of career, academics, or something like that, I used to put on that. And also, it's like when I started my master's, I tried to reach out to lot and lot of students, alumni, so to understand their experience, and through that, my network grows. And after when I came here, I was connected to a lot of people from the company to understand their perspective, what they are looking for, to getting my CV reviewed. And so I mean, it keeps on growing and growing. So, I mean, yeah, this was my journey.
Yeah, and I think that's also a part of one of the tip only, that you are so active on LinkedIn that you could actually connect with a lot of alumni and fellow members, etc., through your connections, and they would have also helped you a bit with the advices and all. And also you shared some of your journey and some of your learning, so that is something valuable for your, let's say, potential juniors or even their parents, etc. So they might have followed you for a for a good reason,
Yeah.
that okay, let me just follow Sachin, so that whatever he puts gets in my feed like the very first thing in the morning. Okay.
I mean, yes, I would say I'm actually active in my real life in a lot of other things, and that actually reflects on my learning. So this is how it works actually.
Correct, correct, correct. You are like quite a
Yeah,
regular. I mean, you post things regularly about your actual
yeah,
life, which people want to, are interested to know about, and that's how I think you grew your followers.
yeah.
Okay, Sachin, that's great. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and advices to our juniors. So we'll be putting this podcast on YouTube and as well as LinkedIn. So feel free to help out the juniors if they reach out to you anytime, and whenever you are free,
Sure,
obviously. Okay. Take
sure.
care then. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vishal, for inviting. It was my pleasure. And it was really nice talking about, going back to the time and talking about things. So thank you for this opportunity and have a
Well,
great day.
thank you. You are welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.